Blarla. Hello peeps and welcome to Peeping at 2 Point Hospital. This is the series where I look at all the material available about the game and try my best to work out what we can expect from the title. Recently I was lucky enough to be invited to Sega to play 2 Point Hospital for myself. It happened to be the same day as the 70th anniversary of the NHS, so not only did I get to meet some awesome creators such as Geekism, Avec and Sips, but Lauren, the community manager, even raised some doubloons for a good cause. It was wonderful hanging out with the awesome 2 Point crowd again, and especially awesome to finally meet superfan Joe. I played 2 Point Hospital all day and covered not 1, 2 or 3, but 4 levels of 2 Point Hospital, gathered masses of new information for the wiki, interviewed devs about the questions you peeps wanted me to ask, and came away with a ton of gameplay footage. Let's peep at 2 Point Hospital. The demo I got my mitts on enabled 4 different hospitals to be played. While I didn't play each hospital to the max 3 stars, I did manage to speedrun 3 of them to 1 star. I was extremely keen to see as much of the game as possible, but what it also highlighted was just how much content and hours of gameplay this title has to offer. I played for almost 5 hours in total and never managed to get that first star on the 4th hospital. During my interview with Ben Huskins and Mark Smart, I learned there would be 15 hospitals available to play on launch, with most likely more in future updates. That's 45 stars to collect, with more time and work required for each star level a hospital gains. Difficulty increasing, hospitals getting larger and more complex. Do you know how many hours of gameplay that is? No, neither do I. Nobody does. All I can say is it's a lot of damn hours. There was a lot I liked about 2 Point Hospital, but also some parts I felt still needed polishing, which works out perfect because with the launch date quickly approaching, 2 Point are fully focused on just that, polishing. So chances are my gripes will be a thing of the past when I finally receive my own copy. There is one word that instantly comes to mind when you first start playing this game: smooth. It handles and plays so beautifully. The art style and animation left nothing to be desired, except possibly more time to just watch your little peeps move around the hospital and observe all the amazing things they get up to. So, what did I like? Playing 2 Point Hospital was insanely fun, and frankly it has been awful not being able to play it since. I instantly started to build hospitals that not only dealt with everything the game could throw at it, but also looked good while doing it. This approach did not always go smoothly, but I did receive comments on how fancy my staff room looked. Did you know that you can choose which staff can and can't use a specific staff room? An extremely useful feature. I came across so much stuff as I played, a whole bunch of illnesses such as bogwarts, lazybones and misery guts to name a few. I learned that various objects have in-game effects, like the skeleton in the glass cabinet increases training speed, the computer server increases research speed, and loads of others. But they can also be stacked, so having a whole room dedicated to computer servers is certainly something you can do. But be careful, those servers get hot. Be sure to have that room super cooled by aircon. Machine upgrades unlock as you progress, meaning we can make all our machines better over time. Multiple rooms and staff is no longer the only route. Upgrading and training can take your hospital a long way to improving your facilities before resorting to multiples. During my interview, I learned much more about the marketing room. This room is operated by assistants and allows you to run a wide range of marketing campaigns. Some higher level campaigns will advertise your hospital as a whole, which will help your reputation increase over time. However, Ben Huskins also talked about more specialised campaigns, such as targeting your market towards specific or collections of symptoms, in turn helping you attract more of a particular illness, perhaps an illness that your hospital can not only cure, but has highly trained staff to better handle it and expensively upgraded machines. If you have invested time and money into an area, then how perfect is it that you can target that illness to have an increase in their visits to your hospital, taking much better advantage of your skills and equipment. Ben talked about recruiting campaigns. Can't find that sorely needed surgeon or Ghostbuster janitor? While training is a clear option, you could just get a campaign going to find your perfect candidate instead, proving once again that 2 Point Hospital will give you multiple ways to achieving the same goals, leaving room for innovative thinking and the ability to specialise hospitals. Kudosh currency. Turns out I'm a fan. When you gain stars, you receive awards, unlock items, gain money, reputation, and also kudosh. What is kudosh, you ask? Kudosh is the K currency you see in the bottom corner. You steadily gain this as you complete aspects such as challenges. This currency is county-wide, so even if you leave one hospital behind, you still retain your built-up kudosh balance, allowing you to unlock items on different hospitals. And there is so much to spend them on, a fast-growing list of objects that gets more and more exciting with every new hospital you unlock and play. Talking about 2 Point County, I spotted a new addition, a career button. It revealed a list of long-term objects for you to concentrate on. Some easy, but also some very tricky ones. I simply can't wait to get working on that list. Like many aspects, it will definitely aid longevity of 2 Point Hospital for me. During the interview, I inquired about aliens being in the game. While I couldn't get a clear answer, it did spur a wonderful conversation about the DNA lab. Ben mentioned there were some interesting genetic conditions in the game, and while the DNA lab can be used for diagnostic purposes, it also has a variety of illnesses it can cure. Denim genes, where the patient's skin is turned to denim, a frustrating illness where drying out after a shower is a complete nightmare. It also cures touch of Midas, where the patient's skin is turned to gold. Other illnesses mentioned during the interview were shock horror, a terrible infliction that causes discomfort not only for the patient, but those around them as well. On the 2 Point Hospital website, you can see a shock horror patient send electric forks to those standing close by. This is also the answer to the gift that 2 Point tweeted recently. The shock clinic is the cure. Emperor complex, where the patient is completely naked. This illness was revealed when Ben Huskins was asked which illness he would most like to be inflicted with from the game.
I like the idea of wandering around with only a bow tie on.
There have been many illnesses mentioned over the past few months, many we still haven't seen. For me, I would most like to see animal magnetism, an illness I've heard Gary Carr mention in an interview where the patients arrive covered in animals. I would love to see a GIF of that illness. Leave a like if you want a GIF on animal magnetism. While in your hospitals, 2 Point Radio plays, which sports some interesting, diverse radio host characters that not only introduce the in-game music, but also tell us about 2 Point County, landmarks, brands, and all kinds of exciting lore. And while on the subject of radio and music, the tunes are wonderful and infectious. Cedar Studios and Jack LeBrenton have done a bang-up job. I already find myself humming tunes from the game and it isn't even released yet. That has to be a good sign. I am also loving the tannoy.
Patients are reminded to avoid death when possible.
I did come across some frustrations while playing 2 Point Hospital. It wasn't all love and rose-tinted times. For me personally, the biggest issue I had was pacing. It felt like everything moved very fast. Minutes into a level and it would seem I had a mountain of things to do and no time to see if what I had done was actually working, or even time to just watch my first patient be cured. If I took my time to build a room nicely, I would have finished only to discover a barrage of messages and people storming out or dying. I missed my health inspector visit. Ben mentioned in the interview that different health inspectors have different aspects that they care about. For example, one might be more interested in visitor happiness over hygiene. So it is worth getting to know your inspectors and being ready for their visit. What an amazing aspect and new depth to the game, but I missed it. I was so busy building rooms, worrying about mounting queues, dealing with mail and VIP emergencies that I never noticed his notification, his arrival, or his inspection, until he was done and marching out the door. However, I am also aware that I was speedrunning to star level 1 on each hospital, accepting every task thrown at me, which I don't believe is quite the idea, and in a general distracted state given my location and company. So it is worth taking all that into account as well. Others found that once you had that first star, things did seem calmer, giving you that time to start enjoying your work. It is possible to also pause the game if you feel you need that extra time to make that fancy staff room slightly more epic. Maybe pause when the level starts, get some basic things in place and then allow visitors in. All these things would have helped. That said, 2 Point were very keen to hear all my thoughts with pace, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are some small tweaks to help in this area, especially in the early levels, because to be fair, I want the chaos in the later levels. Ramp up that challenge. These are hospitals after all. A slower game speed was suggested. Other events possibly be postponed a little longer while we learn how to crawl before we run in 2 Point Healthcare. So I highly doubt the finished game will have us all running around early on. Save the running for those later levels, like Croc and Boosh. I've heard that's the one to beat. The second and final frustration for me was a certain aspect of the GUI. I found I constantly became confused on how to close windows. The information window is always fairly removed from its top header, meaning you don't necessarily associate it with the information currently being shown. Often I wouldn't notice the headers for certain columns, and I definitely struggled to see that red cross. 2 Point are fine-tuning all the time, so I remain confident that the little creases will be ironed out with sensible solutions to even the smallest of details. Something new that was added that I enjoyed was the annual award ceremony. I found it kept me itching for my hospital to win coveted awards each year. Every detail just made me want to strive harder to provide the best welfare I could for my little people. It's enchanting. 2 Point Hospital is crammed with stuff I utterly loved, and I know 2 Point Studios are driven by handing us the best game it can be. It is on my wish list. I will 100% be buying it, and I will no doubt have a long-lasting series on my channel exploring every aspect of this game. With over 50 illnesses, 15 hospitals, 45 stars to collect, competitor challenges, career achievements, and even more in the pipeline after release, we know we won't be short on gameplay content anytime soon. So, save your doubloons, peeps, because 2 Point Hospital will be out on the 30th of August, much earlier than teased. The wait is almost over. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you add 2 Point Hospital to your Steam wishlist. If you have already done that, then make sure you are also signed up to Hospital Pass for your golden toilet on launch. Done that, you say? Well then, you must be wanting to know more about what you can expect in the game. Why not check out my other 2 Point Hospital content, some prime vids and posts I can tell you. But if you are interested in cold hard facts only, then check out the brand new wiki. It is being rammed with more and more information every day. All the links you could ever possibly want are in the description below. Go on, have a peep. Everybody else is doing it.